Hi there, join me in this video as I take part in the RSPB Big Garden Birdwatch. So every year at the end of January, the RSPB runs a national survey called the Big Garden Birdwatch, where they ask people across the UK to count the birds that they see in their back garden, and then we send in the information to the RSPB where they collate all of that to find out how species are doing across the country. So I've got quite a few things to do this morning. First of all, I'm going to spend an hour counting the birds, then I'll spend a little bit of time taking some video and some photographs, then I've got to go inside and put all the information that I get today on the internet. What a great way to spend a morning and really enjoy your photography. So this morning I've got an hour to count as many birds as I can to fulfill the rules of the birdwatch. I'd expect to see blackbirds, robins, great tits, blue tits almost straight away. But as I came into the hide, a sparrowhawk almost took my head off. It came right in front of me. And so it's hanging about. So that might really affect the amount of birds that I see this morning unless the sparrowhawk moves on. So there are a few basic rules for the Big Garden Birdwatch. Firstly, you've only got an hour to count the birds that you see. And then secondly, you can only count individuals that you see at the same time. So for instance, if I saw two blue tits at the same time, then I can count that as two. But if one flies in and then flies off and another flies back, I can only count that as one because I can't be completely sure it's a different bird. So you can only count individuals that you see at the same time. The whole point of the Big Garden Birdwatch is to allow the RSPB, which is the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, to gauge how bird populations are doing across the country. And so it's a big survey involving tens of thousands of people that are watching the birds over a particular weekend at the end of January. The RSPB is a really worthwhile charity. I've been a member now for quite a while, and as part of membership, you get a membership card, here's mine, and you also get complimentary passes to nature reserves because the RSPB runs a load of nature reserves all around the country. You also get a magazine that tells you all about everything that's going on, so it's really worth becoming a member. So there is a reason why the RSPB does the birdwatch at the end of January. If they did it at a different time of year, then there would be foliage on the trees and the birds would be harder to spot. But also, birds are much more likely to come into people's back gardens to seek out food because it's not as plentiful at this time of year. So anybody, regardless of where you are, even if you don't have a back garden, you can still do the garden bird watch in a park or on a bench, just wherever there are birds. Now obviously you can't do it this year because it's on a specific weekend at the end of January, but bear it in mind for next January and make sure that you take part. Now, once all the information's been collected from the Big Garden Birdwatch, the RSPB will sift through about 250,000 lines of data to analyse what birds are being seen throughout the UK. And they've noticed trends such as song thrushes declining, but goldfinches have been on the incline. So there is a question about whether adverse weather can play a part in the amount of birds that you see on your feeders. And yes, this definitely can play a part, but if you think that this data has been collected from back gardens all around the country under different situations, under different conditions, at different times of the day, then all these variables will tend to even themselves out. And if you don't see a bird on your feeders, it's likely that somebody else will. So I've been in the hide for a while now and I've started to see a bigger variety of species. I think what happens is the birds notice me as I walk towards a hide and go and hide somewhere. And once I'm inside and shut the door and they've settled down, they become braver and start to visit the feeders again. I've now finished counting. I've seen 20 different species of birds. The next job is to go inside and start to input the data onto the website. I've come inside now to put the information onto the internet. Now, I didn't manage to film every single species that I counted, so some of the images that you've seen just will have been from my back catalogue. If you decide to do this next year but don't feel confident with identifying birds, the RSPB does provide a guide sheet to help you identify some of the birds you see. Now, obviously I don't need that, but if you need it, that's there for you on the website for next year. So we're now on the RSPB website. I've put in my personal details, which I'm not going to show for obvious reasons. But once you do that, you're then confronted with this page, which has all the birds with pictures, just in case you can't identify them yourself. So all you need to do is go through each bird that you saw and just change the number to match what you saw on the day. So I saw 5 blackbirds during the morning, so I'll put those in, and then we'll go into blue tits. I saw 4 of those. Oh, just let me correct that, blackbird. I saw 5, not 6 of those. We saw 2 chaffinch, 1 coal tit, 5 coloured doves, so we'll just move those up. There we go. Oh, we'll go back 1. That's it. And then 2 Dunnocks and 2 goldfinch. I'm not going to show you everything that I did. You can add extra things if they're not on the list. So there's a woodpecker, a nuthatch, a bullfinch. I'm just finding a pheasant now. to put that on the list because it wasn't there originally. And once that's it, you just have a check to make sure everything's correct. And once you're happy, you then go down to the bottom and you finish your survey, and that's it. And that's really all there is to inputting your data onto the RSPB website. Very straightforward, very simple. So that's it. That's all the information put onto the RSPB website. They'll use the information now over the next few weeks to come up with statistics about how the population of birds in the UK is faring. If that's inspired you to do the Big Garden Birdwatch, obviously you can't do it this year because it takes place over one weekend and now you will have missed it. But look out for it next year at the end of January in 2022. This morning's bird count has been down on what I had last year. I think that appearance of the sparrowhawk has really impacted how many birds have been about, but that's the way it goes. But I hope I've inspired you to keep an eye out for the Big Garden Birdwatch next year and take part yourself. Hope you've really enjoyed that video. Go and check out my Instagram, that's @DOaktonPhotography. There you can see sneak peeks of photos before they go into videos, and you can also message me there and down below in the comments. Click like, subscribe and the bell notification because that really helps my channel to grow. Watch out for next week's video. That goes live at 4 o'clock on Sunday. But all that's left now is to say stay safe and I'll see you soon. Where there is where the other blue tits and great tits will be on the door on the shoot as I take part in the big blue. So all these variables.